Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
Office Bloke Daz.
Together we are the Office Blokes.
Yep.
Yes.
It's true, look at that.
Very nice.
You see that?
The hat.
It's a hat.
The hat.
It's an OB hat, yeah.
Oh, right.
Finally, Teespring have started offering caps, and Teespring are the ones who do our merch, so we just need to figure out the design process and we can actually start selling OB hats at some point.
Excellent.
Everyone will want one of them.
Yeah,
Absolutely
they'll go down well, I
everyone.
think.
Yep. It's life-changing
future.
fashion, isn't
Yeah.
it? It really is. But for now, if you want this hat, we're going to do a competition again. We've not done one for a bit.
Oh,
No,
okay.
not actually. Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. So, what video should we do? Like, subscribe, and what comment? You can tell we planned all this well in advance.
I don't know what videos we've got.
I don't think we've got any at the moment, technically.
I was going to say the read through, but we've already done that one, haven't we?
Yeah.
The WAP read through.
Yep.
Are we going to do the read through that we talked about the other day? We're going to do another one. Right then, that is it. Keep your eye out for the new Cardi B song Bongos, us doing a read through of that. Make sure you liked and subscribed and comment Mike's Bongos. There you go. We'll have to do that now and get it out ASAP.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah. Right, are we agreed on that?
Yeah.
The terms and
Go on then,
conditions?
why not?
Right then, when cops realise they're going to jail,
Is that the guy out the shield?
that could be one of a million cops. It could be Walter White's half brother in Breaking
He does
Bad.
look a bit like him, doesn't he?
It's
Could
just
be
a,
him from porn stars as well.
yeah, Rick.
Rick, yeah.
It's just a proper cop look. That,
It
isn't
is, yeah.
Do you think he's the naughty
He's
cop?
the sheriff.
He is, isn't he? Yeah.
Do you think he's the
Sheriff
naughty one, or do you think he's pulling over a cop that's in that car that's back?
Yeah, I think he's doing a traffic stop, isn't he?
Do you think, right, so you reckon it's like off-duty cops maybe? Maybe a bit of a
Something like that.
Up to no good.
bit of naughty driving or something.
Yeah, let's find out then. When cops realise they're going to jail, let's do it.
There are countless examples of corrupt, evil, and even criminal cops. But what happens
What?
to cops who actually get caught? These are 4 examples of cops who realized they were going to jail.
263
Starting
years.
with Tyler Moody, who was about
I will just say, when they showed that lineup, the third one along, the female cop, I know that story.
Go back to the picture.
I recognise her face.
examples of cops.
I think
right,
so
okay.
anyway.
I recognise it.
If it's
No,
her,
I
I
don't.
think there's interrogation footage of her, and they bring her in under like pretense, like they pretend they need her in to talk about an old case, and it's something to do with her. If it's her, I'm thinking it's like her husband's ex-girlfriend or something got murdered 20 years ago.
Over here we don't issue many life sentences with you get put in for the rest of your life.
full term.
Full term. It's very rare we do it, but the last one that got done was a cop.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
Yeah, true.
Cops who realized they were going to jail, starting with Tyler Moody, who was about to get the shock of his life after being brought into the interrogation room.
Have you offered your resignation or not?
I can keep my job and no.
Well, you can't keep your job, okay?
An inmate charged with murder was discovered with a mobile phone and charger. When questioned, Tyler immediately folded and confessed to what he'd done. He expected to just get fired, but he was about to discover providing contraband comes with a much bigger punishment.
Of every citizen that we have the privilege to serve, and you've betrayed the trust of the brave and selfless men and women that you worked alongside for nearly 3 years. So as of this moment, you're under arrest for bringing a prohibited item, a cell phone, into a correctional facility. That's a 3rd-degree felony.
Providing a prisoner with a mobile phone carries a sentence of 1 year in prison. And that's exactly where Tyler is right now, serving it in exactly the same place that he used to patrol as a cop. But unlike Tyler, Stephanie Ladd.
You would not want to be that guy.
Not really at all, would you?
At least he can say, I was a bent cop when he's in jail.
I was
So
helping
it's
you
like,
out.
I was on your side the whole time.
Yeah.
Is it different in the States then? Because over here we don't have police inside prisons, do we? It's prison officers. They're just specific for the role. So do they have actual police officers in there?
Don't know actually.
I think they're correctional officers, so they're like a form of cop, but
It's pretty similar
for
to
the
what we have
prison
here.
system.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Our prison system's mostly private, though, isn't it?
It's private, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Open to corruption.
Just
That's why it's private.
Yeah, there's an Instagram page that keeps coming up for me, and it's videos of guys with drones like flying packages over the walls of prisons and stuff, and filming it, laughing while they're doing it, and it's just dropping parcels over the wall.
Lazarus didn't get off nearly as easy.
Now
That
you're
is what I was
accusing me of
thinking
this? Is that what you're saying?
After decades of investigations, DNA evidence revealed that Stephanie was very likely the culprit of a murder committed in 1986. Because of the high-stakes nature of the case, the detectives made sure to meticulously plan this interrogation. Stephanie was a really successful detective herself, and she had recently received recommendations for her good work on a theft case. So the detectives used this and brought her in under the guise that they needed help with a case.
I don't want to talk about this in the squadron because I don't know who people are listening. And if we go to my side, everybody's always wondering what everybody else is doing.
No problem.
Okay.
An interrogation room is a strange place for such a conversation to take place, so to put her mind at ease, detectives told her this was the place they'd least be likely to be overheard, as the case details were strictly confidential. Sherry Rasmussen's body had been found at her home after being shot 3 times. At the time, police suspected the murder was a result of a burglary gone wrong, but the case went cold when they couldn't identify the suspect. However, 23 years later, when revisiting the case, detectives found evidence that led them towards Stephanie, a girl who had been trapped in a love triangle with Sherry and her husband, John Rutten. So the detectives decided to bring up John's name to see how she'd react.
Were you guys friends, close friends?
Yeah, we're very close friends. I mean, what's this all about?
It's a case we're working on and it involves John, and in there's notes and stuff that he knew you and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were good friends. Lived in the dorms for 2 years.
Was there ever any relationship or anything that developed between you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we dated. You know, I mean, what's this all about?
Well, it's relating to his wife.
Both the detectives and Stephanie have tried to seem as friendly and relaxed as possible around each other, but Stephanie is obviously starting to get very anxious at this point. Even though the detectives gave a somewhat believable excuse, she is now in an interrogation room faced by 2 detectives being questioned about a girl she supposedly murdered 20 years earlier. Her breathing has become faster, and her language is defensive, and her movements have become more erratic.
And you're right.
I mean, if you guys are claiming that I'm a suspect, then, you know, I got a problem with that.
Okay.
Okay? So, you know, if you're doing this as an interrogation, you're saying, hey, I'm a suspect. Well, now I got a problem with, you know, now you're accusing me of this? Is that what you're saying?
Obviously, you know about all the DNA stuff and things of the nature that, you know, gets done on cases nowadays. You know, if we asked you for a DNA swab, would you be willing to give us one?
Maybe. Because now I'm thinking I probably need to talk to a lawyer.
Stephanie chooses to provide DNA evidence, hoping her willingness to help out would ultimately prove her innocence. But, unfortunately for her, just 5 minutes later, the detectives decide they've heard enough and put her in cuffs. Months later, after a long and arduous trial, a decision was made by the jury.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Stephanie Eileen Lazarus, guilty of the crime of murder of Sherry Rasmussen. We further find the murder was of the first degree.
Stephanie was sentenced to 27 years in prison after being hit with a single felony charge of first-degree murder. But to this next...
You should see those eyes, though.
Yeah, crazy. Not happy.
Yeah, you're trying to tell them you're innocent and you look like that. Good luck.
Yeah.
Imagine all I'm here, what was it, 23 years?
23 years later.
Yeah, thought
You
she
must
got
have
away
thought
with it.
got away with this. Yeah.
I always wonder about stuff like that. I know that they're hiding in plain sight, but if enough time has elapsed, then you just move abroad to a country with no extradition, and it looks fine because it's 10 years after a murder happens or whatever. Why not, like, guarantee your freedom and do a runner, but...
She obviously forgot about the possible DNA that she'd left behind.
I wonder if something triggered. Them to reopen the case. Or I don't know if it was ever closed.
Yeah,
but I wonder if she'd said something to somebody and someone said, "Have you looked at her?"
Yeah,
they might just periodically go through cold cases. You know, like,
I guess they do, especially with now DNA. You know, if there are samples that haven't been tested, then I guess that if they're unsolved crimes, then I'm guessing that's what they do as a matter of course.
Probably. You'd like to think so, wouldn't you?
27 years going from a successful police officer to 27 years in the slammer.
Yeah.
Overnight.
As a detective who's going to have been interrogating people that are probably in that prison as well.
Yeah,
so she's screwed.
Yeah.
She's definitely screwed.
Yeah.
I've watched that whole interrogation footage, like the whole interview before, and she's a lunatic. You can tell just by looking at her face and how she responds to things. She's psycho.
in prison after being hit with a single felony charge of first-degree murder. But to this next cop, Jalen Fleer, a single felony charge looks like child's play.
Can I ask, is this something I should have lawyers on?
In April 2020, San Diego police received tips that a man had been engaging in with a local child. 2 months of investigation led directly to Jalen and a mountain of questions that desperately needed answering.
So, I know that I have a lot to delve into, but I really want to get to know you first, if you don't mind.
Definitely.
Okay. So, I'm going to lean back and get comfortable. Just because... Are you comfortable? Do you want to take off your duty belt?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your upbringing?
Yeah, so... I will ask what this is about?
Yeah, so we're looking into some allegations that were made. We're kind of... It started with a Crime Stopper report, so we're just kind of going from there. We did receive a picture that, when we looked into it, it looks similar to you. So I don't know if you can take a look at the picture and just tell me if you've seen this picture before. I have like 15 million things here. Okay.
As soon as the allegations are brought up, Jalen becomes visibly stressed. He leans forward tentatively in his chair, clasps his hands together softly, and clenches his jaw. It's obvious he's worried about whatever he's about to be shown. The detectives have made it clear that he is not currently being detained and is free to leave at any time. However, she is making a noticeable effort to make him feel relaxed, using a bubbly and friendly persona to put him at ease.
So this picture right here.
Yeah, that's definitely me with the gross one.
Okay, so this picture right here, how old were you when it was taken?
I don't know, 20?
20? Okay, cool. That makes it very easy. So as far as like the picture, so this photo came up in connection with some allegations about you communicating with a younger female on Snapchat.
Okay. Can I ask, is this something I should have lawyers on?
Jalen is starting to seem more and more stressed. He begins to sway in his chair more and becomes more closed off with his answers. But the pressure he's feeling now is nothing compared to what the detective is about to lay on him.
So, this, like I said, this photo was sent to this person, so they were in possession of it, and we can't find any connection or reason why this photo would end up with this particular person if it wasn't shared by someone you may know or yourself.
I agree, yeah. My wife wouldn't have done it, so I don't know why she would share that. So.
Well, along with the photo came some additional information about your personal life.
Okay.
And based on some of the information you shared with me today, it seems to add up.
Okay.
The account that shared the photo and the information was called J178211, a seemingly random selection of numbers, until you realized that 17 was his college baseball jersey number, 82 was his high school jersey number, and 2011 was the year he graduated in. If this account was operated by a so-called enemy of Jay, they'd sure done their research.
Jay, I'll be very honest, I want to know the truth.
Yeah, no, I've never even heard of that account.
Okay. Have you ever shared any images of your with anyone?
Yeah.
Okay. And how many times would you say you've done that?
A lot.
Did you ever share any videos of you having with anyone?
With anyone? No. I've always had personal videos of me and my wife. That was it. And my ex actually had one, but...
Jalen then rightly decides that he's already answered enough of the detective's questions and asks him for a lawyer. However, unfortunately for him, he's quickly handed a search warrant, allowing the police to seize DNA, his phone, and his car. Police used this to gather a mountain of evidence against Jalen and, just a few weeks later, turned himself in. Jalen was charged with 20 felonies, including engaging in lewd acts with children under the age of 14, pandering children under 16, and engaging in the child under the age of 16. A few months later, he was sentenced to 12 years in prison. But this disturbing act doesn't even compare to the atrocities that Daniel Holtzclaw committed.
It's not enough, is it, 12 years? I'm guessing, I think we can guess what that third one was. Yeah. It was the R word, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For under 16. 12 years isn't enough for that.
And do they is it like in the UK where usually half it for good behaviour and stuff like that, so could he be out in 6?
I think we've asked that question before, and I think people do usually serve a percentage of the sentence.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Unless, I think if you keep your nose clean in prison, you don't do the whole thing.
I know somebody got sentenced to 19 months in prison and he did 3.
Really?
Wow.
He was out in 3.
Jesus.
That's a lot less, isn't it?
And he said it was like a holiday camp where he was.
Well, imagine the psychology of that way. Like, I'm going away for a year and a half to 2 years. Devastating. I'm not going to see... Oh, wait, I'm out.
I know, yeah.
Back to normal.
Wow.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a petty little crime neither. It was a serious crime.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, 12 years for all the damage he's caused people there.
Yeah.
It's not...
Well, that's it. And when you think he could get out before that, I mean, 12 years doesn't seem enough as it is.
No.
So...
Well, I said I've been watching loads of intervention recently, and the amount of people that are now addicts that were abused when they were kids, or when they were young teenagers or whatever. Yeah. I think the effect it has on people's lives is unmeasurable.
Yeah, it's that vulnerability, isn't it, of young people like that when they're in that situation.
You affect their ability to trust for the rest of their life. A lot of them turn to substances and things like that.
I was going to say, it affects the rest of their entire life, doesn't it? Can do.
This guy's got a name that sort of like makes you think, Holtzclaw.
Yeah.
It sounds like a redneck beard, doesn't it? Grab me a Holtzclaw.
Yeah.
Daniel was brought in for interrogation after a report came in that he'd made an unlawful traffic stop and forced the female driver to remove her clothing and perform on him. What detectives didn't know was that this was just one of dozens of other crimes that Daniel would find himself accused of.
So we have no misunderstanding because, and maybe I didn't key in on some things. I want you turn in your activity card, walk me through it all again.
Turn in my activity card, I leave out station, turn off my computer, done for the night, head left to go westbound on 50th from Prospect. About a block down, I see a Grand Prix in the outside lane. I was in the inside lane. Directly in front of me, car swerved. At that time, I kind of fall behind of it. Lincoln, I didn't want to light it up at the stop sign, so I waited till it go forward and just lit it up just to the west. And then that's when I made a traffic stop.
Daniel recounts his version of events from that night. Cops said that he didn't report on the stop dispatch, run a records check on the driver, or even let them know that he just logged off for the night. But Daniel just explains that everything happened so fast he just forgot to do all of that, and made the traffic stop off the grid. However, Daniel doesn't seem 100% sure while recounting this evening. He takes unusually long breaks between statements and speaks in incomplete sentences. The true reality of cases is that it's almost usually impossible to get a conviction as long as there was no video or photo evidence of the event. The victim barely ever has any ability to prove that the suspect did what they did, as in most places, they are innocent until proven guilty. This is likely why this turned out to be one of 36 charges eventually brought against Daniel, each more disgusting than the last.
CSI is processing your car right now.
Right.
And when we stepped out, they found some pubic hairs right in here. Could they be yours?
No, that's not. I didn't pull my. I didn't do anything right there.
Did she?
No.
But so you think they could be?
No, it's not. No. Nothing on mine.
Your pubes couldn't be?
No.
Right there?
No.
You seem a little extra worried whenever you talked about seeing her boobies. You sure she just didn't flash you?
I can't. She did not flash. I don't want to say I can't recall, but I'm pretty positive she didn't flash.
I see a pair of titties.
She went like this, but nothing as far as I'm going like crazy looking.
Lifting the shirt.
No. This whole situation and
it's kind of scary.
It is scary, and I don't want my rep to be. Everything's about in law enforcement. 3 years on, I know that, but everything's about your rep.
Absolutely.
And I don't want this to fall on my rep.
Unfortunately for Daniel, though, this absolutely would affect his rep, as the DNA tests on the hair found in the car came back as a perfect match, and statements given by his girlfriend directly contradicted his story. So after the interrogation, he was placed on administrative leave, but just 2 months later, 12 more women came forward with claims, and he was subsequently arrested.
Verdict, count 1, battery. Defendant is guilty of the crime of battery and set punishment at 8 years. Count 2, procuring lewd exhibition. Not guilty of the crime of procuring lewd exhibition. Count 3, burglary in the first degree. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of burglary in the first degree, nor lesser included. Count 4, procuring lewd exhibition. Defendant is guilty of the crime of procuring lewd exhibition, and punishment is set at 5 years.
Daniel was found guilty on 18 of the 36 charges and sentenced to 263 years in prison without the possibility of parole.
Wow. I mean, when he first heard that 5 years, he was probably like devastated. But then in his head, he's tallying up how many years I've got to do.
Yeah.
Probably never thought it's going to be 263 years.
That's a lot.
Wow, that's what you do for abusing your position.
A lot of time for a lot of crime, but yeah, especially if you're a police officer as well. I mean, it's the worst, isn't it?
That's more of a sentence, though, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a proper sentence. That
general
the rest of his life. So
general population in prison. This guy used to be a cop, and also here's a list of all his crimes. Have fun, boys.
Yeah. Here's what he did. Yeah. Put the pictures up.
It's horrific, isn't it?
Yeah, bad.
Yeah, terrible.
I mean, that'll be high profile. I presume everyone in the prison's going to know who he is.
Absolutely.
Oh, of course they would. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the prison officers would probably make sure they did know.
Correct.
Anyway, so
what happened with the Lost Profits guy? Remember, he was in the news a few weeks ago because he found himself full of holes, didn't he?
Yeah.
Kidnapped briefly, and then
I never heard anything more on that.
No, because he was rushed to hospital in a critical state, wasn't he?
Yeah.
No, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything more on it. Where was that?
He's not Broadmoor. No, it wasn't Broadmoor, was it?
No, that's like bloody holiday camp as well. When you pretend to be nuts, they move you there.
I know, but it's full of people like that.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
it's full of wrongness. Yeah.
I'm not sure where it was.
Was it Belmarsh or something? I guess it'd be some sort of high security.
Belmarsh is probably Belmarsh, and I think Wakefield are the two.
I think it's Wakefield. I think it might be
Right.
Wakefield actually. Yeah, he found himself full of holes. Hopefully he's got better and he can go back and it can happen again.
Hopefully he's gone for a forever sleep, as Donut says.
We don't want him to forever sleep just yet. We want this perpetual cycle.
A bit of punishment,
maybe.
first.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.